Hello there and welcome to another edition of Business Digest. As always on this show, we explore on every business venture in the country and we also explore how impactful it is to Rwandans. Let us have a look at the top stories for today's edition. Coming up on the show, all applicants for the Schengen visa will have to go through a private company, VFS Global.
It is basically the front office work of the embassy, which is accepting of the application and enrolling fingerprints and collecting visa fee. Only that is outsourced. And the decision on an application to issue or denying of issuing of a visa still remains with the embassy.
A three-day event organized by Dalberg was held here in Kigali.
Amazing story of building from perhaps one of the toughest situations you can imagine for a country into a really dynamic and impressive growth story. And
My name is Diana Iriza and I will be taking you through today's show. Now, Rwandan visa application processes for Schengen countries will soon be outsourced by BFS Global Company. Let us have a look on how Rwandans are going to benefit from this. The growing rate of Schengen visa applications by Rwandans in recent years was attributed to factors such as increased disposable incomes and general economic growth, which allows more Rwandans to travel abroad. Other specific reasons for travel to the European Union include doing business, cultural exchange, as well as sporting events. However, not all applications were successful, with about 15% of them being rejected in 2018. The previous year, the refusal rate was higher, 20%. Senior diplomats from the Belgium embassy have said that the outsourcing of the Schengen visa application process is geared towards improving efficiency and service delivery in the application process.
Typically, the Embassy of Belgium, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is outsourcing the visa process to VFS Global. It's part of the global contract which we have operated already elsewhere in other countries. Rwanda is one of the countries which is also outsourced. We are going to start the application center on the 15th of January, which is next Tuesday. So when it means outsourcing, it is basically the front office work of the embassy, which is accepting of the application and enrolling fingerprints and collecting visa fee. Only that is outsourced. And the decision on an application to issue or denying of issuing of a visa still remains with the embassy. So we are basically doing the administrative task. So the press conference today was to announce to the public that yes, from 15th we are going to start this visa application center.
The Schengen visa is issued by Belgium but can grant access to 19 European countries. Rwanda joins other countries across the world whose citizens apply through the agency. According to available statistics, the number of Rwandans applying to travel to Schengen countries has risen by 25%. In 2018, the number of applicants was 9,500 from 7,567 the previous year. 5 years ago, only 5,000 Rwandans applied for the Schengen.
We work with 62 client governments. When it means client governments, like Embassy of Belgium, we work with 62 other embassies worldwide in 141 countries. So we have a very laid down process of training with regards to customer service, with regards to handling an applicant who is either in distress or has some emergency or a normal traveler. We have the training modules which covers all these aspects. So we also have frequent trainings to the human resource staff who are going to be present here, regular refresher trainings with the embassy when there are changes to the visa policy, such any amendments. Yes, those are the trainings which we are sure that it will help the staff of VFS to provide the best-in-class customer service to the applicants. We also have a customer survey. So at the end of the process, the applicants can give the survey about how their experience was. If there is a negative feedback or a concern, we immediately investigate and take an action to rectify that also. So those are the processes which helps us to ensure that we provide the best-in-class service.
In the month of November 2018, the Green Growth Forum was held in Kigali, bringing together policymakers and practitioners from across the country and the continent to share experiences on green growth and climate resilient development. Themed for a green growth and climate resilient Africa, the forum is meant to shine a light on the importance of sustainable economic transformation and signal green growth as a priority for Africa. This hence sparked Business Digest's interest to investigate what local firms and companies are doing to support this movement. We visited a multi-million e-waste recycling facility in Bugesera District, Eastern Province, that Rwanda unveiled last year. With this facility, all old electronics are no longer a problem for Rwandans. The recycling facility saves the country from environmental hazards and creates thousands of green jobs. In 2014, the government investigated 1.1 billion Rwandan francs, that is about $1.3 million, to establish the facility under its national e-waste management strategy that seeks to establish sustainable recycling industries. The project is conducted by the Ministry of Trade and Industry, MINICOM, and National Climate Change and Environmental Fund, together with other supporting institutions. The overall objective of the project is to offer an end-of-life solution to the electronic and electro waste, allowing sustainable use of information communication technology in the country by preventing a negative impact on electronic waste on the health or the environment once the equipment has reached its end of life. Business Digest got to speak with Olivia Mbera, the program manager of the facility, to give us an insight of how the facility works.
Now, Rwanda has put so much emphasis in promoting ICT in the country. But what happens when the ICT materials and items reach the end of their life? They have to be recycled. Now, join me as we go through these recycling processes and as we also discuss on the importance of the recycling of these materials on our health.
So what we do here, we do electronic and electrical waste recycling for three main purposes. The first purpose is environmental protection, because we have hazardous fraction in this equipment, in electronic and electrical equipment. So we need to properly handle and dispose it for the protection of environment, but also the human health, because some of these chemicals, they can contaminate people and cause cancers and other diseases. The second purpose is we have valuable components, valuable fraction, valuable metals in the electronic equipment, which should not be wasted. And what we do in this facility, we recover those valuable metals and other valuable fractions.
You've mentioned that the waste disposals are harmful to human health, and you have employees that work in this industry. Aren't they harmful to their health as well? And are there any measures that you're coming up with to protect them from being affected?
We make sure to protect the human health of our technicians, and we do it in three ways. We first train them on dismantling and also finding some hazardous equipment and how to isolate them. But also we train them on health and safety. You see they wear health and safety equipment, but also our dismantling tables, they are designed in a way that you see the holes inside the dismantling tables. Those are to extract the emissions and dust, and then convey it to our emission and dust treatment. So before any dust reaches them, it's being collected, it's being sucked by these big pipes that you see, and then being treated in the dust and emission treatment plant there. In the plant we have fibers, we have carbon filters to properly treat and remove the chemicals.
An inventory survey on electronics and electronic engineering and the expected amount of e-waste to be generated revealed that there is an annual growth in the generation of e-waste in the country at about 5.95%. The survey indicated that Rwanda has an e-waste annual generation potential of between 10,000 tons and 15,000 tons. However, the amount of e-waste is expected to keep on growing given the current high demand of electronic and electro equipment in the country.
Just take us through the recycling process of each and every final product that you come up with here.
And copper. We have another line specifically for CLRTs, the cathode ray tube, because these ones contain hazardous powder, which has cadmium and mercury, so they have to be treated in a closed system. For you to be able to remove the powder, you have to break the glass. So we break it by heating, and then we separate the glass, the funnel glass, and the other parts, and then we remove the powder through vacuum pump, using the vacuum pump.
On this segment of Business Digest, we visit the Dalberg meeting that was held in Kigali, an ecosystem of young entrepreneurs, innovators, creative problem solvers that partner with governments, agencies and companies throughout the world, providing an innovative mixed advisory, investment, research and design services.
Well, it's very exciting for the entire Dalberg community to finally gather. We only gather every few years, and to do this meeting here in Kigali really speaks to a lot. Firstly, we want to learn from the Rwanda story. It's an amazing story of building from perhaps one of the toughest situations you can imagine for a country into a really dynamic and impressive growth story. And we wanted all of our team who work on development around the world to come and see for themselves, learn, ask questions, explore, figure out how they can contribute, and also take lessons to other parts of Africa and the world. Dalberg is very committed to the question of building social enterprise. We ourselves are a social enterprise, right? We began by first identifying a need for development impact and saying, how do we build businesses that tackle or that contribute to making a more inclusive and sustainable world?
They talked to Business Digest on the objective and mission for holding this event here in Rwanda, the activities they carry out that are meant to benefit businesses in Rwanda.
I think Rwandans are benefiting in a number of ways. The first way is just our hiring. So we've grown our team now to 11. 7 of those 11 are Rwandan. And I'm increasingly really excited about our opportunity to bring in young Rwandans, bring them back to Kigali, and give them the ability to build a management consulting toolkit. Historically, people had to go spend a few years in London or a few years in New York or elsewhere to learn about banking or consulting or some type of trade and then bring that back. And I'm able to hire very, very talented young Rwandans, bring them here, mentor them, and these are the people that are going to be leading our organizations. And I know I'm going to lose staff. I know that as I bring them through our trainings, through sessions like this, and they grow as professionals, they're going to have so many opportunities. And I'm excited because they'll be our clients in the future, and I can hire more staff. So I think that's one way that we're contributing. Another way is advisory and investment promotion. I think both helping to grow organizations that are already here and perhaps more importantly, attract more organizations to the economy that we're building here requires a range of professional services. It requires investment advisory. It requires strategic consulting. It requires capabilities around design and many of the other things that the Dalberg Group brings. And so I think being an organization that is local, that is built from locals, that understands that, is going to really hopefully accelerate our development as an economy.
And on today's segment of Market Trends, I'll be bringing you the formal external trade in goods in the third quarter of 2018.
Now, in the third quarter of 2018, Rwanda's total trade amounted to US dollars 1,004.32 million, a decrease of 6.98% over the third quarter of 2017. Exports totaled up to US dollars 179.73 million. Imports totaled up to US dollars 738.97 million, and re-exports were valued at US dollars 85.61 million. Total domestic exports increased by 20.10% during the period of the third quarter 2018 over the same quarter of 2017, and by 9.57% compared to the second quarter of 2018. Total imports of Rwanda decreased by 13.65% in the third quarter of 2018 when compared to the same quarter of 2017. And it increased by 11.53% over the second quarter of 2018. Re-exports from Rwanda increased by 15.16% in the third quarter of 2018 over the same quarter of 2017, and decreased by 1.00% compared to the second quarter of 2018. The top 5 export destinations were the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, United States of America, Switzerland, and Canada. Together, these 5 countries accounted for 44.65% share of total value of domestic exports, which is $80.25 million US dollars.
Now, this is where we wrap up tonight's show. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Until next time, my name is Dana Iriza. Thank you for watching.